Good afternoon, everybody. First of all, thank you for being here. That's quite a pleasure. Before we start, let me shortly introduce you Sopra Steria. So Sopra Steria is a European company on the market in Luxembourg since roughly 15 years. We are in essence working on infrastructure management, software development, but as well provide consulting services in the area of data governance, but as well cloud, and as well how to digitalize your business. Myself, I'm with Sopra Steria since nearly 15 years. Run through different European but as well public sector projects within Luxembourg and within Brussels and Strasbourg. And I'm today the country manager of Sopra Steria. And I'm here as well with my colleague Gabriel, that as well is representing our business on the public and private market within Luxembourg. About what will we talk today? It's shaping your customer's experience in the digital age. Everybody's talking about digitalisation. Everybody says you have to do it. And I want to talk about one aspect here is how do you do this with keeping your users, your customers in mind, and do not forget them in the transformation that you want to do. You will need to do transformation. You will need to use digital to automate your processes, to have cost savings. You need to. But do not forget your users, and that's what I will guide you through today. To start with, we will start with a real-life example of one transformation we did with a European customer. We have been starting with a service. This service has been offering automated IT services to our customers, so meaning they could, through a standard interface, request services. For example, I want a database. I want to have a server. All those, like if you go to the cloud. Nevertheless, all this was operated in the back scene by people. So we had a huge amount of people operating those. We had characteristics where this kind of services took an average 5 days. So a customer could plan, if I request something, it takes me 5 days. And in maximum, normally it was 10 days. What was not good is we had a rework rate of around 5%, meaning that every 20th request had to be reworked, either because of mistakes the operator did, or because the customer requested something differently to what he got. We went into a transformation where we completely automated all the processing of this, meaning nearly no human interaction. Everything was done by computers. Amazing. What is the outcome of it? We have been able to grow the amount of requests per month from 8,000 to 12,000. What does it mean for you as a provider? You can have more revenue because you're able to make more requests with the same amount of people. We have been able to improve the average time for requests from 5 days to less than 1 hour. That's amazing. Really, people looked on it and it's good. You can start as well not to only automate your activities, but as well all the activities around, meaning your customers, your suppliers can get into an automated chain. Nevertheless, the max time to implement in some cases was still 2 days. Why? You sometimes still need manual interactions, you still need communication and so on. And we reduced the rework rate to 2%, meaning that not anymore every 20th request was wrong, but every 50th. Now there's one question. How do you think the customer reacted to it? Were they happy? Were they better? Interesting thing? No. They were not happier. Why not? They missed the human interaction. In essence, we defined standard outcomes they could ask for. For example, you can ask for a database, you get it, but you get only the standard. Every time you want an exception, you need to have a person that interacts with you. Before the transformation, this interaction was at the beginning of the process. So from the beginning on, you could talk with a person, you could address what you need. Now it's in the end. You ask for something, you get something, and then you need to ask to change. The customer is not happy. Secondly, if something goes wrong, the customer was first facing a computer and then facing with some escalations a human. The same thing as well, if we had escalations, it went through the whole chain of the different departments because suddenly there were other people involved. That's why people were not happy in the first place. Where I want to guide you through today, what are the tools, the techniques you can use to do not come into this kind of situation. So you make a better service, but you do not face that your customers, your users are unhappy. First of all, let's have a little bit of a look what our customers, your users are expecting. First thing that clearly they expect is a reduced price. With the benefits of automation, digitalization, customers expect you can offer a better price for the services, the goods you offer. A better speed. You don't want to wait any more days. You want to have things instantaneously. And secondly, as well, you want to have an increased throughput, meaning that instead of getting 1 or 2 goods per day, you might want to have 10, 20, 30. All this comes as well with quality, because you can reduce human interactions, you can reduce human mistakes, you have a better quality. But there's one point, it's in the middle. They expect as well provider intimacy. And that is a critical thing. How can you still offer this? I'll give you an example. Have you been lately in McDonald's? Yeah? When you order, before you went to the person and you ordered what you wanted to have. Now you come and you face a computer and you have to order on a computer. If you know how it works, it's super fast. And there even have been improvements when you go through the Mac drive. It's super fast, it's brilliant. But if you come the first time and you expect to talk with a person, no, you talk with a computer. You have to find your way through this. So I've been lately in the McDonald's in Strassen. Do you know what they did? They put a person next to the computer to help the customers to use the computer. Voila. Nevertheless, I discussed with a colleague last time, McDonald's had, with certain changes, a benefit on their revenue. So they have been able to use this technology to grow their revenue, to grow their margin. But they are now experimenting how can we have the real customer experience that is better or at least the same as before. What is the outcome of it? You have a dilemma. As a provider of services, you have a dilemma that you have to fix. What is your dilemma? To achieve the cost savings you want to have, to increase the throughput, the speed and quality you want to have, you need to automate. You need to improve your processes. At the moment you automate, you reduce your customer interaction. You will do. It's a first, it will simply come automatically because all the steps will be automatic. There is no person anymore involved. So what is your challenge? You need to understand how can we take the service we have today, what are people facing today, how can we automate it and still have the same or even improved customer perception. I can tell you it's possible. It's possible to have both, but you need to go through it. How can we make it happen? And I will show you how. There are, for me, 3 areas. Now this is experience. This is not a methodology. That is simply something we experienced with several customers with whom we went through this transformation. The first thing is you need to work on your perception management. How are you perceived by your customers, by the ones that ask for your goods? So the first thing, you can start with customer surveys. You can, in the best case, before you start with your automation, your transformation, you ask your customers, how do you see our service? What is good? What is bad? When you start with your transformation, you can regularly do it. You can measure what is happening. You can see the results. And you can do it in the end. Now, there's one point. At the moment you start to automate, it's an endless endeavor you have to do because your services will change. The way you work will change, so you need to continue to automate. That's quite given. So you should have a constant way of asking your customers for feedback. There are quite elegant ways to do it. For example, if you offer IT services, you can simply have an automatic mechanism where every 10 times where you have a request, you ask a service desk agent, please call the customer. Please ask for feedback. It's important that you have a person doing it because, again, you want to have the personal interaction. You can use as well automatic ways, but I would propose you really start with persons doing it. It gives you a better link to your customers. If you are directly exposed with your customers, your end users, do a workshop. How do they see the service today and what do they expect from the service once you automate? That is most probably the best way you can do. But for this, you need to have direct access to your customers. Sometimes if you have web pages, shops, and there it might be difficult to achieve. But if you're a local company with local customers, you could enhance your services with this. That's the first thing. Work on the perception that your customers have and try to maintain, try to improve. Second thing, governance. When you work through the process of automation, digitalization, you will work with business analysts, with technical people, with people from the field, from the operations. They will think about how can I make the technology better? make them aware it's not only the technology, it's the people with whom you work that are your end customers that are important. Don't forget it. So make your people aware of it. Second point, you can make a kind of exercise. You can work with them to have a so-called outside-in view. So you take them, you step outside of what you do, and look how you offer the service. So you really perceive yourself as a customer and see how you go through this. Try to have a mistake, see how it works through the chain. As well, this kind of view is interesting. With our customer, we went in essence to all their customers, and we step by step went through all services, and we saw how the customer was observing it either as good or as bad, with all the pain and all the benefits they could have. Now as well, that's more the human side. As well, you can have a lot of technology support that today is existing on the market that can help you to move ahead. One thing that I think is quite good is chatbots. At the moment you start to automate your service, customers will have questions. The more you automate, the more services you will provide. So as well, with the people that you have, it might be difficult to serve all the questions. So the first thing you can have is chatbots. They can work on the different questions your customers might have. They can prepare based either on a defined answer catalog or on AI, the right answers to your users. So they can help them in the first steps to get in contact with you. Don't forget one thing. There might be situations where your chatbot is not able to answer to it, and there will be the locations. Then you need to link it to a person that can take the request. What is important here? That the customer, the user, is not seeing a break. Seeing a break between chatting with a chatbot and chatting with a person. I had a case with an insurance a few weeks ago. They implemented a chatbot. You had to provide all the details. The chatbot said, oh, I cannot help you. I will forward you to a person. And the person did the first thing, I need all your details again. Not good. Doesn't help. Not at all. So that's one key thing. Yes, use technology, but find the right way how to link it with your people. You can use portals that can help to make it easier accessible to your services. So there's one place where you can offer all your services. It's easier for a customer to find out what they want, and as well easier to share how you can work in different situations. And last point, don't forget data analytics. It's more a technical way to look into what's going on, but it's quite key as well to understand how are your communication. This, for example, you could link with your customer surveys, so you can automatically see what kind of requests have a positive customer feedback, which kind of requests and service have a bad customer feedback, and you could work along the side. That are, in essence, different elements you can use. There are way more on the market you can use. What I want to share in essence, yes, you need to automate. Yes, you need to digitalize. It will happen. If you today go on the banking market, if you don't digitalize, in 10 years you're gone. It will come sector by sector that you need to do it. But don't forget the people. Don't forget the customers that you have. Don't forget the persons that work with you. It's a key thing to make this a success. Otherwise, it will simply fail and not be the right solution. That's it, in essence, what I wanted to share with you. If you're interested, so Gabriel is with me here, we can share later on as well what we can offer from Sopra Steria. So we do indeed do a lot of those things. We can either provide consulting, we can look with you into chatbots, within software development, how to automate processes. There are a lot of tools available on the market, and with pleasure we can share it. And here as well our contact details. Thank you very much.